Objectively speaking, Liaoning is at nuclear level on the national flag. Countries in the world that actually own aircraft carriers, it's the 5 permanent members plus India. Like those helicopter carriers. Let's not talk about vertical takeoff and landing fighter because there is no technical content. It's just a small tablet. The real aircraft carriers are the U.S. Nimitz class, Queen Elizabeth class, China's Liaoning and Shandong, Charles de Gaulle, Russia's Admiral Kuznetsov, INS Vikrant. Among these aircraft carriers, objectively speaking, Liaoning is larger than Kuznetsov and Vikrant, smaller than other aircraft carriers. Because if you look at the U.S. aircraft carriers, all nuclear power, the displacement has reached 100,000 tons. All electric propulsion adopted by British aircraft carriers. A total of 2 ships were built. The overall technology is still very advanced. A naval aviation can carry up to 40 carrier-based aircraft. Although the tonnage of the French aircraft carrier is only 42,500 tons, it can also reach 40. The most important thing is the only country outside the United States has unlimited battery life. This is something that conventional powered aircraft carriers cannot compare to. Aircraft carriers of Russia Kuznetsov is Russia's only aircraft carrier. At the same time, it and the Liaoning are sister ships. Because the Liaoning, it was converted from the Varyag. The Varyag was built by the former Soviet Union, the second ship of the Kuznetsov aircraft carrier. The construction of the ship was forced to stop due to the disintegration of the Soviet Union. The ship's ladder had been completed when the work was stopped. But the work wasn't done yet. Later we introduced. This is how the Liaoning aircraft carrier was reborn. The Varyag itself is stronger than the No. Plus the subsequent improvements. The fighting power will only be stronger. As for the Indian aircraft carrier, no need to say. If the road to aircraft carriers is a tower, then the Liaoning is a seed. It is for Chinese aircraft developments from the Navy are crucial. Far-reaching impact. Objectively Shandong is at the nuclear level on the national flag. Let's just say this. All aircraft carriers can take carrier-based aircraft and wander around and come back. No smoke, no water leakage, no fire. It can also take off hundreds and land. Of carrier-based aircraft in active aircraft carrier that does not break down. Type 002 Shandong and Nimitz class. Queen Elizabeth class aircraft once leaked water while sailing at aircraft carrier repairs leaks other countries don't have. Koryuenghao aircraft carrier at the 7 out of 8 boilers fires often occur. Kuznetsov aircraft carrier on the way back from a mission in Syria. Black smoke billowed, still in the shipyard. Although the Charles de Gaulle aircraft no water leakage not catch, but when it was in Haiti, the propeller once ran away. I almost couldn't come back. The speed is only 25 knots. It's hard to evaluate. So in terms of the combat readiness rate of the Shandong is at the level of 21,000. There is no way after all. He is at the same combat readiness level as ton nuclear-powered aircraft. However, the Shandong aircraft, the Nimitz class, in fact, it is similar to the Nimitz class. Of course, I am not saying that Shandong can be same number of aircraft as Nimitz. The average dispatch rate. For example, your aircraft carrier can carry 160 racks can be dispatched My aircraft carrier can only carry 40 carrier-based 80 racks a day. Although the technology but the efficiency is the same. If my aircraft carrier can carry 80 carrier-based aircraft, I can also deploy 160 aircraft. Even more. Because your aircraft carrier is a catapult just a ski jump takeoff. Although the Shandong is not the most powerful aircraft carrier, this fleet includes the most powerful destroyers. Its fighting power is no match for anyone in the community. Objectively Fujian is at the international level of nuclear power. After the emergence of Kin 20, a large number of countries adhere to I can create that the 5th generation aircraft was for example with Turkey's TFX fighter, India's MK fighter, FS 2020 in Sweden, Conqueror of Iran 3, South Korea's K-1, etc. For a time, the threshold for 5th generation aircraft anyone can make by wireless. In this case, then my displacement of more than 80,000 tons electromagnetic and the floating tip of the full point push went into the water. May I ask how you guys are doing? What does this mean? This shows that you cannot do what China can do, but what you can't do. China can easily do it. China's second 5th generation aircraft is about to enter service. These countries don't even have a shadow of their 5th generation aircraft. First-tier the mother has figured it out. Now many countries are in an unprecedented, awkward position, especially the neighbors next door. It is said that if China can make it, I can definitely make Many people don't know. What is the concept of the electromagnetic catapult? Let's just say this. Countries around the world that can use electromagnetic catapult can achieve electromagnetic catapult without stability. Only China. As for why, I've said this many times. Because our electromagnetic uses a more advanced medium voltage integrated power system. It is larger than a US aircraft carrier. Is more stable. Yeah, you never thought of it before. In the field of aircraft carriers, one day someone else will be ahead of me. Although it's just an electromagnetic catapult but with this beginning on an aircraft more areas will be surpassed later. Maybe you can still take it now. It's not the nuclear power, that's the point. But if the next aircraft carrier is launched, it is a 100,000-ton nuclear power plant. Can you find to discredit our current aircraft carrier is very similar to the original J2. From doubt to speechlessness. The official trailer shows this new missile from 055, the destroyer's rear vertical launch unit launches. This shows the length of this new missile should also be 9 meters. It is an oversized missile. From the video we can see the tail of the second stage of this new missile. There is obvious translation. Obviously, the second stage of the missile flying mainly in the atmosphere. That is, after the missile is launched, will fly out of the atmosphere Then the first stage is separated. The second stage is returning to the atmosphere. This is a typical ballistic missile flight. Therefore, this missile, it is not the so-called new air defense missile. It is a genuine shipborne ballistic missile. At the end of the combined video, at the final scene of attacking the surface ship, the purpose of this missile is obvious. That is our country's shipborne anti-ship ballistic missile. The combination of Eagle Strike 21,055 can perfectly pass anti-intervention region. Focus on countering China's maritime hegemony with the service of the short-range anti-ship ballistic plus missile. Plus the road to serving in the basic anti-ship ballistic missile 21, as well as air-launched anti-ship missile carried by ballistic missile. It means that our country has successfully established a long-range anti-ship system integrating sea, land, no matter air. How advanced the attack in any way will be hit by this trinity of anti-ship. The system is so restrained that there is no temper at all. Westbound sea-based hypersonic ballistic missile interview. Not only does it have the ability to strike its aircraft carrier in the field of ultra-long-range rapid strike, the Chinese Navy already has its own. It can be said to be unique in the world. Boeing, a leading American company. A message to U.S. President Biden. We can't afford to lose the Chinese market. The company's losses in 2020 reached $11.9 billion. Now we United can only States rely on selling our own to barely buildings. Make a living. What is the reason? Let the world's civil aircraft Boeing has fallen into such a bleak state. October 21st, 2020, the U.S. V-Corps issued a statement. U.S. Department officially approved U.S. $1.8 billion worth of arms Cancer sales to is Taiwan. A serious interference in China's internal affairs, undermining my country's sovereignty and security interests to no my avail. Countries, the three main contractors of the arms sanctions sale. Against cancer. Boeing is among them. The other two are Luoma Company and Raytheon Company. Then China's sanctions stick. How did Boeing? The company was hit so hard that it could only survive by selling off its buildings. 2021. President of Boeing, Dave Calhoun, at a business meeting. A message to U.S. President Biden calls for improved relations with China. Calhoun said the United States should not raise human rights issues. This is just to exclude Boeing from China. Beyond the market and let European competitors. Airbus benefits from this. Typical of wanting to eat Chinese food and smash Chinese bowls. The reason why Horn called out to Biden, begging for mercy from China. Because there is really no other way. In recent years, Boeing has, suffering a series of severe blows. Now we have lost the Chinese market, a major The COVID-19 pandemic swept the world in 2020. It dealt a heavy blow to the aviation industry. Many small and medium-sized all have declared bankruptcy. Boeing, it has suffered the biggest crisis since its establishment. 2020, Boeing's losses hit $11.9 billion, reaching the historical crime. To save costs, Boeing to cut 7,000 jobs in 2020. Expected to continue to lay off 30,000 people and to keep the economy going. Boeing plans to commercial aircraft headquarters office building Boeing's current bleak situation. Half of the reason is due to oneself. Boeing was founded in 1916. Boeing started out by selling arms. Until 1995, Boeing unveils medium and long-range officially entered the field of civil aviation passenger aircraft. In 1967 and 1970, the classic masterpiece models were launched. Boeing 737 series and Boeing 747 Until now, there are still more than 10,000 Boeing 737 and more than 1,500 Boeing 747 even the president of the United States Air Force One is converted from a Boeing 747. But just as Boeing was developing smoothly, but met a strong opponent. Airbus Airlines, 1970 Britain, Germany, and Spain, in order to compete with Boeing in the United States. In 1988, Airbus launched the famous A320 to compete with Boeing's 737 series was well received upon its launch. As of November 2019, total A320 orders reached 15,193. It has surpassed the 15,136 passenger So we took advantage of the Boeing 720 series on January 25, 2016. Launched the A320AU, an improved version because of the this aircraft is very fuel efficient. A best-selling model as soon as it was launched. To completely overwhelm Boeing at this time. Watching competitors grow stronger. Of course, I can't just sit back May and 22nd, 2017. Boeing. This was followed by an improved version of the Boeing 737 Max. Boeing didn't know at this time. The highly anticipated Boeing 737 but it became Max. The beginning of Boeing's nightmare. October 2018, a Boeing 737 MAX Corgi failure during flight caused the plane to crash. All 189 people on board were killed. Less than half a year has passed. In Ethiopian Airlines, Boeing 737 the passenger plane had the same problem. Crashed in flight. All 157 people on board were less than half a year. The two air crashes have caused Indonesia, dozens of countries and regions, including Boeing the 737 MAX grounded. What caused these two crashes? It's because of the 737 MAX pilot warning system. Regarding this issue, Boeing launched the model. Already no, but Boeing did not purchase any countries mentioned for this model. Until these two air crashes occurred, Boeing decided to solve this problem. But it's too late to fix the problem. Boeing clearly knew about this problem, but not solved. Don't even want to mention it. Until more than 300 innocent civilians just remember to solve it. December 2nd, 2020. FAA. Announcement of lifting a ban on Boeing 737 December 9th, MAX. Brazil high and low first airline. To resume flights of Boeing 737 but less than half a year has passed. April 9th, 2021. There is a potential electrical problem. Boeing again halts 737 MAX on April production. 28th. Boeing confirmed. Boeing 737 MAX deliveries and these halted. 737 MAX that have been produced. Boeing's hangar is full of them. Coupled with the impact of the global these planes epidemic, can't be sold. Boeing, which is facing difficulties in cash flow, I had to sell my office building to keep the company running. Although the 737 MAX made the millipede dies without. What really hurt the broadcasting company? The Chinese market. In 2019, China had a total of 3,000 Airbus has 1,000 civil aircraft. 383 the proportion reached 48.32%. There are 1,780. The proportion is 46.95%. Trade war broke out. In 2020, the global delivery volume of broadcasting companies Airbus only the delivery volume in the Chinese market has reached alone. 100. Boeing, the demand for passenger aircraft in the Chinese market research in the next 20 China's years. Civil aviation market in the next 20 years will generate $3.1 trillion in economic benefits. But because of the trade war initiated Boeing by the United States, will not even have a share of the pie. That's why Boeing President Calhoun and called out Biden's good play. On the other hand, Aviaci's C919 civil has airliner also begun to emerge. February 26, 2018. Comac signed a contract with Horong Financial for 30 aircraft. Large passenger as aircraft of the end of February 2018. The number of domestic and overseas users of C919 the total number of orders has reached 815, although China's civil aviation in the early stages. But I believe world civil aviation industry there will be a piece of sky belonging to Avic. Ford Motor. Aircraft carrier undergoes explosion and successfully completed the test. The aircraft carrier was unstable. Then China's Dongfeng R1D known as the aircraft carrier. Can it still pose a threat to the Ford aircraft carrier or the grassroots? July 16th, local time. Ford, the most advanced aircraft carrier, completed the second full-ship explosion shock test as early as 4 p.m. on the 18th of the United States once attacked the USS. The first blast shock test was carried out. During the experiment, there are thousands of pounds underwater of not far from the USS Ford detonated. It triggered an underwater earthquake with a magnitude of the USS Ford still managed to survive the explosion resistance test. Each round is expected Conduct 3 explosion resistance. The third one is still in preparation. This isn't America First anymore. Time against conducted explosion resistance as early as 1987. The United States once used the screw the symbol whole ship has been tested for explosion So why resistance? Is the United States keen on bombing its own aircraft carriers? In fact, the explosion impact is a test that tends to be more practical. It usually uses explosive detonation near the hull of an aircraft then test carrier. The carrier's ability to withstand and detect the operation of online equipment. So, does it represent the USS Ford? After completing the explosion shock China's Dongfeng missiles can't do anything to him. Of course not. First, the U.S. aircraft carrier was detonated around the hull. But in fact, there is still a certain distance around here. It's more like a response to an explosion. Shock wave detection. It doesn't mean to just drop the bomb. Throw it on an aircraft carrier. If the United States really does I guess his 11 aircraft carriers will be completed soon. But then again, the United States has really done something like completing an aircraft The U.S. Navy has retired the Zhaoying class aircraft experiment was conducted. U.S. Navy first use an airplane to carry bombing the Little England class aircraft then use surface ships to launch anti-ship missiles. Finally, the submarine launched a throughout the experiment. In order to speed up the progress of inheriting the U.S. military carrier, using various advanced weapons are sent to the aircraft carrier. Although the aircraft carrier is riddled with silence. Finally, high explosives were installed on the bottom of the aircraft was it completely sent to the bottom of the sea. The experiment lasted 25 days. This aircraft carrier was integrated. This also anti-strike capability of aircraft carriers just a retired small emergency. It already has such a terrifying ability to resist attacks. Then facing the most advanced American stunt aircraft Can China's Dongfeng missiles really cope with it? First of all, we need to understand that is to make the aircraft carrier it doesn't mean to combat effectiveness. As long as the key parts of the aircraft carrier are motivation, then the aircraft carrier will also lose its combat different from being sunk. As mentioned before, American aircraft the only test conducted was the explosion resistance carrier that was the center China's of the explosion and DF-26 missiles. It didn't explode around the aircraft shock waves. Instead, it hit the deck of the aircraft carrier directly. To know the terminal speed of Dongfeng Red can reach Mach 10. Equivalent to 12,240 kilometers per second. It only takes 6 minutes from Beijing to Shanghai. At this speed, it will hit the deck of the aircraft carrier Never mind directly. The missiles. Even if it is a slightly larger stone, can smash a big hole in an aircraft Even if carrier. There is no grassroots aircraft carrier on the ability to move. No combat value. It has become a veritable coffin board at sea, and DF-26 is even more powerful than DF-21. The terminal speed of the DF-26 can reach Mach 18, almost twice as much as DF-21. Most importantly, Dongfeng 26 can not only carry conventional it can also warheads, carry nuclear warheads. A nuclear warhead traveling at Mach 18 hit the carrier deck. Then the aircraft carrier will still have a chance to survive. Don't talk about survival. I'm afraid I can't even find the slant. It evaporated and disappeared on the spot. Let's take a step back. If the DF-26 has a deviation, did not hit the aircraft carrier, landed around the aircraft carrier, the tsunami it caused was enough to overturn an aircraft carrier fleet. Cannot in 1946, it was still the United States destruction capability against various anti-strike capability of the aircraft 95 warships of various types were aircraft carriers, 5 strategic ships for cruisers and several destroyers. The United States will these arranged in the pattern of combat ships. Then he detonated a nuclear bomb 100 meters away. One of the aircraft carriers participated in the experiment because it is close to the center of the nuclear explosion. It sank directly Another to aircraft carrier slightly further away from the center of the nuclear explosion. The aircraft carrier did not remain silent. More than 10 warships were seriously damaged. But there is no silence. Although these badly damaged warships, there is no silence. They all lost their combat capability. Plus the nuclear radiation pollution. No chance of repair. You know, in this experiment, TNT equivalent of the nuclear bomb that exploded, and the equivalent of the atomic bombs dropped on Japan the same size. Now the TNT equivalent of at least 10 times the power of this nuclear dozens bomb. Of times. Of course, here it is just a medium and long-range missile like equivalent the Dome of 26. If it's on ICBM, that should be at least 100 times. So, the U.S. Ford aircraft carrier undergoes explosion resistance tests. We don't have to worry at all. China's Dongfeng Express is not only highly fast and sufficient. How much do you want? Okay, this video is here. If you think it's good, please long press to like. By the way, pay attention. See you next time. Even an elderly person with dementia can be President Biden's mental condition questioned. Don't dare to take the test. I am afraid it will be difficult to survive the 4-year term. May face resignation as president. Speaking of the current U.S. President Biden, since he took office, his mental condition has always been a concern for the American people. This has caused widespread discussion and doubt. As early as when Biden ran for president, there are already many Americans doubts about Biden's mental health. For example, on September 15th, Democratic presidential candidate Biden, in a speech in Florida, he mistakenly said Iraq for Iran. Then a few days later, Biden attends the U.S. conference when giving a speech, started talking incoherently. Biden's confusion, said he had joined the Senate 180 years ago. This picture, it has caused discussion among the American people during the election. Biden has made several slips of the tongue in public linked to Biden's mental health. Insisted that this shows Biden is unfit to be U.S. president. The power of capital is strong. Biden joins the campaign. Although the performance was not good, but he was still elected the 46th president of the United States. With Biden's various weird actions after taking office, more and more people doubts about his mental state. Since taking office, Biden has repeatedly failed to express himself clearly in interviews, kneeling in public many times, wrestling, whispering, and other weird behaviors. For example, when Biden gave a speech in Texas, suddenly forgetting the words while reading the guest's name. Sorry for the guest's name. I even said, "What am I doing here?" Not only that, he is still in public, directly referred to as former President Obama, my boss. Even Vice President Harris, on March 19th this year, Biden boarding the presidential plane, Air Force One, triangle throw, attracting widespread attention. For a time, major media outlets around the world are spreading this the president of the United States. He fell 3 times in public. It's extremely embarrassing. Some people joked that the name really suits the person. Losing while climbing. A White House spokesman later told reporters, Biden is 100% fiending, mainly because the wind was too strong. That's why Biden accidentally fell. Do you believe this statement? Anyway, I don't believe it. We don't know whether the wind is strong or not, but Biden is really old. At a recent White House press conference, Biden answered reporters' questions multiple times using private messaging. To answer questions from reporters, his strange expression shocked the reporters at the scene. Scared. Video of Biden answering questions also edited by some media, published on the internet platform, was forwarded crazily. Then, some American politicians also named Biden the Bridge of Terror, claiming that his actions, like an old man with Alzheimer's, it makes people doubt that he can't afford the total responsibility of the system. According to U.S. media Ronnie Jackson, former White House physician and Republican, in an interview he said he believes that U.S. President Biden will quit due to limited cognitive ability. Jackson believes Biden is getting old. Their mental state should be cognitive ability. Do some memory tests. Prove that he is capable of serving as president. But the proposal was repeatedly rejected by the Biden administration because of all the science since Biden took office. All of these indicate that he does have mental problems, most likely Alzheimer's. This is what we often call Alzheimer's disease. If Biden fails the test, this means Biden must resign. Current president. Therefore, the Biden administration will never let this happen. Need to know. This former White House doctor, responsible for the health of many people and the president. I didn't know it when I was a kid, but now I know it all the time. So his words are very important to the American people. Very authoritative, very heavy. So many people believe this. A poll showed 50% of Americans questions about Biden's mental health. According to a survey by the U.S. media, Biden has been in office for less than a year. The approval rating has dropped to 50%. This also makes many Americans survive a 4-year term? You know, Biden is now 79 years old. He is the oldest president in the United States to date. Plus, his mental state is not very good. It is indeed doubtful whether he can survive his term. Now that Biden is so old, why can he still beat Trump to become the United States? What about the 46th president? First of all, Biden is indispensable. The talent behind it. Because the United States is a capitalist country. The real control of the United States, it is these capitalists. Of course, the President of the United States, after all, the American system is otherwise useless. Biden and Trump, not for the presidency. Fight to the death. Another reason is purely Trump's personal reason. Protests failures under Trump administration leading to the outbreak of the epidemic crisis in the United States has triggered an economic crisis has led to massive unemployment, eventually led to the loss of control of American society. American society is completely torn apart. Trump's anti-China policy, forcing countries to compete between China and the United States. This has also led to the increasing isolation of the United States because of these two mistakes of the Trump administration. Environment, both domestically and global hegemony faces collapse. The domestic economy is facing a positive conflict intensification leading to American capitalism. Trump must be removed from office. But for now, Biden doesn't seem to be any better than Trump. Okay, this video is here. After reading, remember to follow. Your support is my greatest motivation. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.